Images AI could never recreate, and the profile picture of this account is an image an AI could absolutely recreate. It's not boding well currently. Now, this crucified minion in particular is an actual 3D render, and its popular spread in the year of our Lord 2024 was by actual TikTokers giving the same spiel. The one about the minion on the cross that certainly sounds like an AI speaking. And the image of the minion on the cross used in some of those videos was actually made by AI, almost recreated by it, you might say, but at least in its purest form in 2015, and this original 3D render was a real image created by a human person. And the TikTokers, even though they were proving dead internet theories' efficacy by the day, are themselves real people. Shut up! That said, the never in the account's name is a ticking time bomb. Hi again, guys. And whenever this account has popped up on my Twitter scroll, it usually has some pretty uniquely human elements that make me think they were fairly on message. They only got like 40,000 followers as of now, and they post very frequently, but I fear they may be going down the route of a gimmick account that turns into a very standard meme page that just engagement farms, where they post literally anything that might go viral regardless of relevance to its original gimmick. And because of this, I'm trying to get in on the ground floor here and commemorate things it posts now that are not made by AI, but also I want to rate those posts based on how future-proof I think they are. We have to know how replicable by AI these images may eventually become. It's a dangerous game we're playing here. The human element in these posts often comes in the forms of captions attached to the image, or that the image is just a screenshot of a caption itself, and a lot of the humor in these comes from suspending our disbelief that these things are actually found out in the wild, real world. So, we have to be diligent and archive what we think may age well compared to the account's original mission statement. Will never be replicated by AI. If you enjoy this video, this card at the end will take you to another one like it. And did you know that less than 20% of y'all are subscribed with notifications on? If you sub and hit the bell icon, you'll never miss an upload, and you can always undo it later. You might as well go ahead and pronounce the L in Salmon. Nothing matters anymore. We are all going to die. AI may someday be able to string these words together, but it would be self-defeating. This feels like a response to AI where all the jobs in every field have been taken by them, and doomerism is the only path to survival. Apathy to the present is the only way, ironically, to remain present. That said, I have always liked the idea of Saul being pronounced like in Better Call Saul as the standard pronunciation of Salmon. In conclusion, maybe AI could make this image, but not without first an era of posts like this where AI exists and people say stuff like this in response. There would hopefully be a decent chunk of time where this is simply a reaction to AI instead of what the AI ends up becoming. Wishful thinking often only leads to disappointment, but what's new? Personally, I just want my body fixed. I hate having a disease that is written into my genetics. Fucking type 1. I feel like most people read the reply as being snarky, but I can understand reading OP's comment as a threat. He said genetics, period. Then fucking type 1. Like, that is aggressive. Whether it was with intent to harm or not, it reads like there is real conviction behind it, in one direction or another. GazM2K5, or however you read that combination of Latin letters, definitely felt some real human emotion behind those words. Either they feared for their safety, or they saw someone struggling, making an earnest plea for someone to do something, and wanted to express empathy in the only way that someone can over Reddit replies. Just doing what you were asked. The genuine human interaction here, whether one of fear or compassion, feels too real for an AI to recreate. And even if it did, it would not be the same, because it would be a cold, mechanical facsimile of real human connection. They've earned it. Hashtag cigarettes for teachers. You know, this absolutely feels like a real plan the US government would enact instead of just raising teacher pay. It's multifaceted. Hear me out here. You give teachers cigarettes so they can take the edge off from the stress of their incredibly difficult jobs. The cigarettes suppress their appetite like they did to Dorothy on the set of Wizard of Oz. That way teachers spend less money on food and skimp on calories so they can pay rent. You get them addicted to the cigarettes, but they can't go out and feed that addiction themselves because it's an expense they can't afford. And suddenly we still have a teacher shortage, but far smaller turnover rates. And the kids who got addicted to vaping in middle school all the way through high school now have an incentive in college to become educators for the free nicotine. The position can even be advertised as having an all-natural plant-based alternative to vaping. We want these kids to stop puffing the flash drives. It's the perfect CIA psyop, which makes it all a little too real to me for AI to be privy to make just yet. Keyword, yet. $30 for a burger? I'm stealing the sign. This is the average Schlatt viewer. It was literally right there. What, you expect me to not take it? Just so some other guy can come around and swipe it for themselves? At least I can make sure I give it a good home. The thing I think AI would struggle to replicate here is the hand placement and just the sheer scale of a Five Guys sign compared to the man carrying it on his back like Jesus did the cross. The atmosphere of night that this took place at is reminiscent of Waffle House and is only made possible by the suburban sprawl of all you see before you. 6 people in this class have a grade below 20 exclamation mark, crying laughing. That emoji makes it seem very millennial teacher core, just someone who was truly raised by some of those deep-fried Instagram story screenshots that pervaded the internet like termites in a log cabin throughout the late 2010s. And it is probably the most classroom-looking classroom I've ever seen. Not just an approximation of it, but the perfect example of one. The white bricks with the mortar between them that have been painted over in the same inch-thick white paint. The liftable panels that every school uses for their roof in the classrooms. Those specific baskets on the bottom left, you know the type. The mitigating factor here is going to be the class that this thing takes place in. Because if this is English or anything where you have to write an essay about something, so maybe history or social studies, 6 people having below a 20 in the class could very well be a result of ChatGPT co-writing their works. And the teacher is either catching them or ChatGPT just being dogshit at doing whatever is asked of it. Say that again. Wow, that's crazy you caught this on film. Glad the kitty's safe. Very cool, Hawk 2. I do believe this is real. Hawk 2. And it's a real thing that's hard for AI to capture at the moment. You see, AI-generated video and imagery has a tendency to make cats look miserable and sad, no matter the circumstances, especially when it's forced to generate a kitten doing manual labor construction jobs. Whereas the nonchalant attitude of the kitten safely behind the windshield is much more likely. Cats love doing their best to scare off things that are dozens of times their size and have potential for harm way beyond theirs, namely humans. So this is a tentative win for humanity at this point in time. Whoever just did this to my mama, count your days. Popeyes, reply with eat for a free 6-piece dinner. Deal lasts until June 6th. Eat. Say it faster if you want to double the bundle. Eat. Faster. Eat. Eat, 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 head ass. This is a very real reaction. An old person is a prime real estate victim to take advantage of for schemes such as this. Baiting someone into saying some shit that's embarrassing because they don't understand them through fake deals, but with no intention of scamming them, only messing with them, is very common. The people who do this type of shit only really want to wreak havoc and chaos in your social life, not much beyond that. Rarely do they want your personal information. They simply want to see an old person or otherwise vulnerable fella do something notably silly. The question is, how much do they love the game itself? Do they enjoy the thrill of typing the message with their own fingers and they want to have a hand in every victim they create? Or do they simply want to scale up and start creating AI chatbots that won't cause any material harm but can embarrass your loved ones at inhuman, unprecedented speeds? I've felt like this since January, and here we have our first true blue dud. The caption from the OG account is real, but this is something that absolutely could be AI generated. The only thing remotely human is the caption, and that is not something hard to replicate for a robot. I'm aware that this was the actual old Sprite logo, and I'm pretty sure this was a real ad from back in the day, but even here, the writing on the cans appeared smudged, even if that's a result of human error. It just makes it more believable if an AI did the same thing. This is the exact abomination that an AI could create that people would still spread around regardless of how they feel about the ethics behind it, because it's a striking visual when viewed in a vacuum. Unfortunately, this is not only something AI could make, but could probably create a much more effective version of. I made the Jehovah's Witness watch me do backflips. You'd think you were Jehovah, the way he was forced to witness you do backflips. I like to think that the dude on the right is just this fella's dad who's out there to make sure he's being safe on the trampoline, and that the cat is the actual Jehovah's Witness here. You see, that little guy is also watching whatever the hell is going on, so it's kind of ambiguous if you think about it. Right now, an AI can only let me make that kind of joke through an error in its process, so any recreation of the same thing wouldn't be because of its capabilities, but because of its faults. The idea that the cat in this image is the one actually knocking on doors, spreading the word, is a result of the beauty of real-world entropy. What is the etiquette of rubbing one out under the table? You ask this on almost every video. May I suggest you seek professional help? Now this one is truly human. It requires a pattern of real-time behavior that can be inferred from this two-message conversation alone. AI can maybe see the entire history of those messages, put them together over time, and maybe spit out the same string of text, but this taking place over real time and William Hanson getting to truly respond to it is real narrative. Collato's commitment to getting his question answered, William's repeated reading of these comments while saying nothing, until he can no longer stay silent on the matter, where he needs to check on this person's well-being. That is brilliant character work. Only in Atlanta. You gotta be a different type of dude to ride a unicycle. A lot of people have made jokes that Atlanta is literally turning into Gotham because of some of the crazy crazy shit you hear about coming out of there. Even it's just people saying crazy shit, like with that song, "Let's play a little game I made. All you gotta do is pick a candy bar, one got a blade. If you eat the wrong one, I swear to God, boy, that's on you? Bro, I did not put that shit in there!" But so I just had to double check, and go figure, there is indeed a unicycle-themed Batman villain. So nah, this is just actual life imitating actual art. This has been AI uncertified by real American patriots. I'm running late for something, but at this point, I'm just gonna miss it. I called an Uber, and this dude became my driver, and now I can't cancel this shit. To me, that does look like straight up AI, but there's layers to it. The dude's face is smooth as hell, and he got a full-grown beard with all of his baby face fat still attached, meaning it's probably originally a real picture. But then the homie ran it through FaceApp and chose to use that as his profile picture on Uber. I'm really curious if a follow-up here exists where we find out if the dude actually looks like that, or if some other viral posts exist in another corner of the internet, maybe r/Uber shit posting, where an anonymous driver said he started FaceApping his pictures as a baby and uploading them as his profile picture because his job is boring and he's usually the one getting fucked with. Old heads always hating on new fellas. Sad. You ever feel like this is how the original Five Nights at Freddy's designs feel whenever they look at the security breach designs? Hell, maybe even Bonnie and Chico were doing this kind of side-eye as early as Five Nights at Freddy's 2. Their replacements in the direct sequel were like so slicked up and shiny compared to the grimy, black mold-encrusted images of the original. There was absolutely some gooner content of the original forecast all around, but Toy Bonnie and Toy Chica did irreparable damage to the reputation of the originals, so much so that they were probably left feeling a way about it. That said, animatronics are like kind of AI. I don't know, I've never really worked in that field, but they're kind of AI, especially in the context of FNAF, I guess. It's just not generative AI. So while AI may never recreate this image specifically, its older brother had a hand in its physical creation. This dude got mad at me because I kept calling him Tupac with his all fries on me looking ass. Oh my god. This is the kind of thing some dick would quote Freddie Gibbs with. When I saw this image, I was almost certain that's where the caption was gonna go. They are never gonna let Five Nights at Freddy Gibbs live a peaceful day in his life. Now, getting back to the original image, the amount of realistic pictures I've seen of LeBron with perfect curves in a maid dress makes me think that AI could absolutely put Tupac's head onto a body wearing a McDonald's uniform. Hell, they turned the dude into a hologram before it was cool to watch HoloLive concerts. So he was kinda already ahead of the times with that one. Looking for advice. 19 male. If you look at the dude on the left, he is genuinely just mogging in this picture too. Perfect mewing tongue posture. There's no complaints from me here. So he's either holding the straightest face he can to block out the shame that he asked his grandma to take this picture of him, or he really does not feel a single way about it. It's hard to tell if the grandmother herself is looking away from the mirror and at the door to avoid seeing what she's being forced to take a picture of, or she's staring directly at the pics, admiring them. I don't think AI would really know how to depict the difference, but you can't really tell from this picture either, so it feels like it is within an artificial intelligence's wheelhouse. Mark my words, there will be edits existing of characters drawn on top of this base image that were not created by talented actual artists, but rather AI-generated ones very soon. A grim reality indeed. I'm not scared to fight. I'm scared to actually kill them, because I have fighting techniques that can probably break someone's arm. I'm shitting on you tonight. The only evidence out there being that the guy making the threat actually is following through on it is genuinely foreboding. I'm willing to say that AI could not make this image. The C920 webcam quality, the signs of a clean but well-loved toilet, the faded out colors on the picture itself, all of this just screams authenticity to me. The only thing that could really improve my opinion of it is if we got to see the actual before and after of the shit on top of the piece of paper. That would cement my belief in its one-of-one status permanently. Though I'm not sure that before and after is allowed to be shown anywhere but on the Twitter repost. It would probably get nuked off TikTok immediately, and it would only be archived on this meme page. I built this while tripping. No idea what it does. Not trying it either. Charging $75 for that is bold. I don't know if you've ever been to a vinyl store where they'll just have a crate of mystery records, usually ones from foreign countries in languages that you don't speak, but the store owner bought the whole crate for like $5 and is pawning them off individually. The last time I did it, they basically charged you on how cool the cover looks, and by sticking the vinyl on a record player on spot and just doing like a vibe listen based on how good the music is inside of the damn thing. If it's heat, they're charging you big time for that, but the level of complexity this guy assumed he put into crafting this Destiny common drop is what made him decide that this thing's gonna cost close to $100. Do not ever send me a picture like that ever again. In my opinion, the more that a joint's wrapping has the texture of some particularly fiber-devoid poo, the more it's gonna hit you. With like a backwoods, for instance, which I would never encourage the consumption of, as well as any weed, that shit'll put you on your ass, man. You're gonna be couch locked. One thing I don't correlates to quality, though, is the size of the shit that the joint begins to resemble. Like, smoking big doinks is is an age-old adage, like the longer the joint you're smoking, the harder you're going. But I feel like that has its upper limits. And I think if the big doink really looks like a large chunk of someone's feces, it's actually working against its own value proposition. Is this fish peaceful or ferocious? It looks AI generated. I'm sorry. I'm sure that is a real type of fish, but I've never seen nor heard of it before, thank the Lord. It just really looks like something Stable Diffusion would pop out if you asked it to generate something that would be swimming around a Monster Hunter swamp. The only human element is the caption itself, and even that isn't particularly handcrafted. It's a Billy the Butcher profile picture, we have no idea how original the username is, and is this thing an adjective or other adjective is definitely a stinker. Very lackluster showing for this Twitter account's mission statement. He's mad I called him dickhead. As funny as that individual image is, many cats are born with fur patterns that put dicks on their faces. And just as many, if not more, are born with permanent Hitler stashes. Things like this are simply a consequence of chance, and chance makes it happen a lot. And with such a big pool of resources to pull from, AI could almost certainly make something like this. Right down to the money on the table that the cat is presumably gambling away. We are, unfortunately, ending this video on a dud because I can't lie to y'all. I cannot give y'all false hope. This is the direction we are heading with this stuff. Everything you see online will become less special as it becomes less rare to find something that looks exactly like it, and you can't even know that it's just some dude biting someone else's style. It might not even be made by a person anymore. And on that depressing note, I'm gonna wrap this video up here. That card I mentioned should be on screen. Be sure to drop a like and subscribe with notifications on if you enjoyed. Anyways, this has been Kwite, and I'll see y'all next time.